Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the delightfully unnecessary audience of one show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5, irlonestar.com, and wherever you get your podcast from. I am Andrew, sitting alongside the current reigning Microsoft Excel champion of the world, Richard Schisler.
Richard Schisler.
Richard Schisler.
Welcome back, onesies.
What up, onesies? So we are recording, yes? Okay, good, because we just had a slight mishap where we started the show and I could not hear myself in my headphones at all. We had to abort. Abort.
Well, the funny thing is your headphones weren't even plugged in.
No, they were plugged in, kinda.
I mean, Sure.
And me being the consummate professional that I am said, we need to start the show over. And you said, no, go with it. I'm like,
go with it.
This
Let's
is going to
go
be a
with
mess.
it, dude. You got it. You're golden, baby.
You know what the problem is? I'm wearing shorts and flip-flops today.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, oh, it's one of those days for Andrew.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I have ever done the show in shorts. I just don't feel like I'm going to broadcast at my normal amazing level in shorts.
Sure.
You can't. I just can't take myself seriously when I'm wearing shorts and flip-flops.
People really judge you.
What's that? They do?
Yeah, I mean, like, you wear flip-flops, everyone's going to be like, yeah, we know that guy's doing. Not working.
Right, exactly. So, and I know people probably can't tell on the show right now if I'm wearing pants at all, but I know it. Deep down inside, I'm going to be talking to you, and in the back of my head, I'm going to be like, I'm wearing flip-flops, man.
I'm wearing a thong.
Well, but the reason is it's hot. It's hot outside, man. What the
is.
heck happened? I was in Michigan this week, and it was like 65 degrees and wonderful, and I get back here, and oh my God. Something happened. It turned to summer just like overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's weird. I had something interesting happen to me when I was in the hotel. I was walking past the check-in counter to go down and get breakfast. And there was a lady there, and she was speaking to the hotel attendant about her bed being very uncomfortable. She's like, yeah, my bed's not very comfortable. I didn't sleep well last night. I'm requesting to change a room. Basically, that was the gist of it as I was walking by. I heard that. I thought, oh, well, okay. They weren't arguing or anything, but she was certainly not happy.
Yeah.
I go into the breakfast area, and I'm making my waffle, as one will do at the hotel. You know, you pour the batter in, and you flip it over, and deet, it's done, and you have a
I can't believe you actually do that. I just go in there and get coffee and like.
Well, if that's all you're going to get for hours and hours, you know, because I'm there for work, you're gonna make a waffle. And what's funny is sometimes those waffles are pretty good, but it is absolutely impossible to not get that batter to go over the sides and make a huge mess. But anyways, I'm sitting there making my waffle, and I guess this woman comes in behind me, and you know, just for descriptive purposes, she's
A fat woman.
she's a little heavier set,
She's fat.
and she
With
has
a PH.
She has, if
Caboose.
you will allow me to say, a gender binary boy haircut. You know, very short hair.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm being descriptive. Get off
Okay.
my back, man.
Okay.
And she's behind me, I guess, doing something. And I just kind of glanced over when she walked in. And said, oh, in my mind, I'm thinking that's the woman that was complaining a few minutes ago at the front counter. And all of a sudden, I hear her say, "Oh no, my bagel is stuck in the burner. My bagel's going to burn. Oh, and I don't want to burn my hand either. I can't get it out." I turn around. I'm like, no, this is the reason I described her is because I'm not going to mistake her as a different woman. She was very distinctive in terms of her look.
Okay.
So I know it's the same woman. It was just at the counter. She wasn't speaking in an English accent or British accent. I'm sorry.
These are your weird things.
And I'm wondering if I just literally happened to experience what we talked about a few weeks ago of people in stressful situations reverting to some sort of accent.
Well, what's bagel in English?
Bagel?
I feel like it's like a biscuit with a hole.
Yeah, biscuit with hole.
Oh, actually, never mind. I tell you that biscuits are sweets.
It's a scone. I like to eat scone. Anyways, it was weird, and it stood out to me. And I thought, well, maybe this stressful situation of this bagel stuck in the burner caused her to speak in a British accent. But if you think about
Did you
it,
ask her?
no, I didn't want to talk to her.
Why not?
I didn't want to talk to her, man. I was eating my waffle. I was
Terrible
concentrating on my
story.
waffle.
The better
No,
story here is you talking to her and be like, hey, you weren't speaking English an accent before.
yeah.
What's the deal?
What's going on? But then it got me thinking, well, maybe she actually is British. And then the interaction with the hotel lady was the, I guess, tense situation. So she reverted to an American accent.
I don't know.
I don't know, man, but I guarantee she was not speaking that
I think she
accent.
worked for the CIA
It's very, very possible.
or MI6.
What's MI6?
I think that's the equivalent of CIA in England.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
I
Or Great Britain.
didn't realize you were up on your
Hey man, when you send your applications out, you gotta shoot it like a shotgun.
well, since you're up on your British news, did you hear they're having a massive heat wave over there too? Like, yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it's really crazy how close to the sun we are.
They're closer, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's hot, man.
Yeah,
We get it.
King Charles sausage fingers are all sweaty. Poor guy.
I mean, it's hot.
It is. No, it is really hot, man.
But did you have a good weekend and everything?
Yeah, I'm just kind of running rampant. I'm going on vacation.
How you won't stop
I'm going
moving,
to Florida.
dude.
No, I'm on the move constantly, either for work or for personal travel.
It's funny. I went to Bernie this weekend, and my cousin travels for work. Mm-hmm. And I walk in. I haven't seen him in a long time, and we used to be roommates. We used to be like really great friends. The girl who the previous girl I was with hated their guts, so I wasn't allowed to see them, which is fine. And
But now you're free to see whomever.
yeah, and it's great. But I go into his house, beautiful house.
Nelly Furtado
This
sang
guy,
about that
this guy is
once.
very successful, but he travels all the time. And I didn't realize how much he traveled until I walked into the house. His wife set up 2 calendar boards, like as big as TVs,
Whoa.
and
So you could see all of his
because he has
travel
2
schedules.
kids. He has 2 kids, and those kids are active kids, and she has everything written on them. And I was like, man, Stuart, you do travel a lot. Like, you're home out of 30-day month. He's probably home, I'm guessing, maybe at most 10 days.
Oh man, I couldn't do that. I'm not gone
At
nearly.
most?
I'm not gone nearly that long, and I'm glad. I wouldn't want to live out of a suitcase. That just sounds
and
terrible.
it was crazy. And I was like, well, I'm glad I got to see you this weekend because I feel like that's your whole month. And but yeah, let me tell you though, there's 2 things I saw that I wanted to report back to the onesies.
All right,
I drove by Kyle.
travel news with Dick. I love it.
I drove by Kyle.
The city of Kyle.
The city
yes.
of Kyle.
Yes.
I was like, hey, I know that place. And the second thing is I saw the Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw it, I go, hey, look, I was going to tell you. But then I was going to tell you, but we didn't go there. So I was like, I'm not going to tell them I didn't go into the store because I was literally right next to it. But we did. I didn't go in the store. I still don't know what it is.
It's just a regular old veteran-owned coffee shop, I suppose.
So it's a coffee shop.
It's a coffee shop, and they
Okay.
sell swag. I've heard people get T-shirts there. I don't know.
Well,
and,
it was interesting. It was Bernie's a beautiful
good coffee.
place, but more importantly, I went to that bowling alley, and right when we walked into that bowling alley, I smelled cigarettes, and I was like, "You can smoke in here."
lovely.
And I went up to the lady. I was like, "You can smoke in here," and she's
And
like,
immediately went and bought cigars.
and I immediately went and bought cigars, and I smoked cigars while watching this tournament. And what I love is the contrast of the people at the bowling alley than the people in downtown Bernie. Because I kid you not, my cousin's like, I really want to show you Bernie. It's a really cool small town. I really like small towns. That's usually what I do for vacations, like go check out small towns. And everyone there, it was like market day. It was packed. All these people, tourists, everybody
Yeah.
walking everywhere. We went to the breweries. It was cool. And when you get to the bowling alley, it's not tourists. Probably, I don't even know if they're from Bernie. Because
Just the local area, probably.
yeah, and it was great. The bowling crowd there was great, smoking cigars. The lady is a nonprofit. It's a social club.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And she said we can come bowl there anytime but this weekend because they close it for the tournament.
Right.
And she got us beers. That was cool because we're talking to her. And it turns out one of the ladies who's helping was probably going to be the kindergarten teacher for my cousin's daughter.
Wow.
Which is really creepy.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I was like, how do you feel about your daughter's teacher working at a bowling alley? Because you know that people work at bowling alleys. You know what that means.
Yeah, I've heard.
But yeah, overall, it was great. I was actually an unknown bucket list of mine to smoke in a bowling alley.
Check.
Because you can't smoke anywhere.
Not anymore.
And I'm surprised you don't go to jail for smoking.
Right.
The way everyone's getting treated these
Yep.
days. But when I was like, I gotta go get cigars. I want to smoke a cigar in here, and it was great. It was
I'm
cool.
glad that you got to fulfill your dream of smoking indoors.
And
Dick has high aspirations.
Well, now I know when I go visit him, I'm like, even my cousin goes, we're coming to this place every time.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Because we were just drinking beers. He's like, this is better than a bar. And
Yeah, because the ambiance, it's different. Yeah, I could see that.
Because my cousin and I are really big like hangout guys. Like we can do anything. We just need to be able to hang out.
Dick's the hangout
So
guy.
we can hang outside. We can go.
Hanging with Dick.
So yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, that's kind of what we could have called this show that, but we never would have been able to promote it.
Yeah, true. True. We finally got on the I Love Conroe. I saw
Yeah,
that.
we had to change our name of our Facebook page. Good gosh, that's all right.
What do you? Folks don't know if you live in a city. There's probably a Facebook group that says like I Love
Whatever.
Wisconsin
Fill
or
in the-
whatever.
Yeah, fill in the blank.
So the I Love Conroe page is extremely entertaining with some of the most random stuff. And
Yeah.
the current fad is food on it. So everyone's posting how crappy food is or how good food is.
Uh-huh.
And did you see this Bulldogies thing on there? Like they were going to close, and then Michael Berry, the radio host, did something.
Now I guess I missed it.
And then, well, because they made a post about there's construction on one of the major roads here in Conroe called Highway 105, and they put those median turns. So before they did construction, the median was just flat. You can just go over the yellow lines and turn into a business. Now they put like concrete barriers.
Medians, right?
And it's like it's terrible. It's the
Right.
worst
So
idea.
people can't turn left out of
anywhere.
Yeah, it's supposed to help with traffic flow.
Yeah, right. Well, they claim that's why they're failing because of the construction. And everyone went there, and everyone's posting pictures of their Bulldogies, and it's hot dogs. And everyone's like, they're so good. I was like, are these people getting paid to say this? Because like, it's a hot dog.
No, now it's a joke. It's a joke now. It's a running joke. I've learned that about that page. They take a topic and then just run with
Well, no, they sold out. They made a post saying, thank you so much. I love Conroe.
it. Okay, I thought you were saying people were
this
just
is
posting
real.
random pictures of
No.
looks like hot dogs saying, look what I got. In
This
Bull-"
is real.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself,
Well, that's cool, man.
It's just because I enjoy a good hot dog.
Yeah, that's the power.
But it's
of-
like, it's just
power
a
of
hot dog.
Social media, I guess.
It's just a hot dog.
Yeah.
Now I want to go check it out because it's
Right.
like, I thought hot dogs were just hot dogs.
The one I saw the other day, someone posted pictures of cookies, and they had, I guess they were supposed to be dance shoes on the cookies, painted, or I guess the icing was in the form of some dance shoes, and they looked awfully a lot like female
female
genitals.
Oh, now I understand that post.
and then it got scrubbed.
That's funny.
Because I opened up my Facebook, I'm like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah. Oh man, but I saw that we were on there. That's the reason I bring that up.
Yeah, man, finally got to make a cross post on something without it getting scrubbed immediately. We had to remove the dick from our
Yeah.
name, which is fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
So, anyways, hey, I
Let's
heard
start the
this-
show. Let's start the show.
Yeah, and all right, ready, go. We're done with the chit chat and on to the
on.
business.
Hold on, we gotta. Yeah, this is.
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna-
our old. That's
yeah,
our old song.
We're gonna start it. All right, you wanna talk, huh?
Yeah, man. Let's talk. Let's do
Let's
some
talk.
talk.
Look, all right,
Boy.
onesies. Strap in. Make sure it's freshly cleaned onesie you got on,
That's right.
not soiled.
Although if it's soiled, more power to you. You can sit in your own funk. Did you hear about Al Pacino is having another child? It's been all over the news.
You know what's funny? I immediately want to look up who he's having a child with.
Well, he's having a child with his 29-year-old girlfriend. Woo is right. Actually, I don't even know if they're still together, but they were together at least 9 months ago.
I
Because
mean,
she just had a
he
baby.
was on top of her.
Oh,
9
yeah,
months
that
ago.
kind of together. Yeah, that kind of together. But apparently, when she said she was pregnant, he immediately demanded a paternity suit, and
I would too.
yeah, because he's like,
He's
"We-"
probably only doing that once a year.
yeah, right, exactly. But he had a baby, and he's got 2 other kids, and they've got to be thinking, well, there went my inheritance right smack in half, because it's not like those kids are going to have a relationship with their, like 50-year difference brother or sister. I don't even know what gender the child is.
Well, it says their girlfriend and boyfriend.
Yeah,
which is
well-
hilarious to me to think of Al Pacino having a girlfriend.
Right?
And with the beauty of the internet, I'm checking out her Instagram. I think this is her.
Well, Robert De Niro had a baby too. Maybe I'm confusing the two. He just had a baby.
No, this is Al Pacino. You're right.
No, yeah, but with the paternity test and all that stuff, that could have been Robert De Niro because he had a baby, I think, last month, and he's 79. What's up with these old dudes, man? I'm sure his girlfriend is, the ripe old age of 33.
It's funny to me that our society's hitting that pinnacle point with social media, and I was listening to another show, a commentary show, talk about, you know how the NCAA has that new program where people get paid now, like you can get paid?
Absolutely.
Well, like the new fad now is
Some of them are getting paid a lot.
Well, they're getting paid, but like the men are getting paid for being athletes, and the joke is the women are getting paid for looking good.
That's correct.
And now they're talking about, because it's been around for a good couple years.
Yep.
So now people who are like Division I volleyball players, they're graduating, so they're not playing volleyball, but they're making their money still on Instagram, being Instagram models.
Well, of course.
And
There was one girl who made, I forget history for probably the most money. I forget what this whole scenario is called, but she's an LSU gymnast.
Yeah.
And she's good looking, and so now she's
what
wealthy from
what I love
selling her
about
likeness.
this is, for those rich guys out there, this is a great time, because you just go on Instagram.
Old rich guys.
Yeah, you just go on Instagram and be like, hey, I see that you're an influencer. Do you want to be tagged with me for a little bit?
I suppose, yeah.
And if you think about this lady, she's 29. You go to her, she's on Instagram, not hiding anything.
Yeah, but that age difference, man.
I mean, you want to be.
I think his girlfriend had been tied to like Mick Jagger
Don't
and other
doubt
guys,
it.
so she's obviously
doubt it.
out after the older men.
I mean, half her pictures, I'm looking at her, she's like on a boat or like doing a fashion show.
Yeah.
So clearly
I
she's
don't
trying
know
to be
I don't know
connected.
who she is.
Well, I just looked it up, man. But you understand what I'm saying? Just letting know the guys
Thanks,
out there.
Thanks for the tip.
And the ladies out there.
Dating tips with AOO.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ladies out there who want to be Instagram
Step
influencers.
1, be rich and old. Well, it made me think of this story. Well, it didn't make me think of this story, but this story stood out to me because I had just heard that news about Al Pacino. Good God. That Japan has raised its age of consent. And you know what age of consent is, right? Do we need to describe that? The age at which someone can legally have
legally.
relations,
Yeah, okay.
right, without it being considered rape or whatever. Well, they raised their age of consent. Japan did. They raised it from 13 to 16. And when I saw that, I thought, you've got to be kidding me. Their age of consent was 13?
Yeah.
Good
Small island, dude.
God.
It's a small island.
That is shocking to me. I think here in the United States,
Is it?
isn't it 17?
I think it's state by state,
Yeah, maybe so. But I think,
because we have states' rights.
yeah,
People forget,
America.
People forget about that. We're the United States of America, not America.
Just America. Well, it says the age of consent, which is... Oh, no. It says Japan has been unchanged since 1907, with children aged 13 and above deemed as
Can you
capable
imagine
of consent.
1907, though?
Exactly. And I'm thinking, so what was the age before 1907?
I don't think
I guess
they had
they
one.
probably didn't have one at all,
Yeah.
yeah. That's when at some point somebody said, we probably need to get a handle on, rape
don't
and
know.
everything else. God, it's terrible. But yeah, they raised it to 16. Unbelievable.
You can't judge the past.
Well, this is the current. Up until just, I guess,
I
whenever this
think
was passed.
Texas is 17.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not really going after that right now, so I'm not really going to look
Well, I'm just
that
letting
up.
this know for our. You just gave some dating advice for our older, rich listeners, and I want to let them know that they happen to be on a trip to Japan, that they've got to go at least 16 now. Good God.
But it's surprising, though. There's so many different things going on culturally around the world still. It's almost like everyone thinks everyone's America.
Yeah, we do kind of get blinders on over here in the United States for sure. We're the only place that matters, man.
I guess. Fake it till you make it.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so we have Al Pacino,
Well,
hot girlfriend, baby, and now we have 16-year-olds are up for grabs in Japan.
that's right. Tickets are already booked, Dick.
What about the people
Are
what about the kids who are 14, 15 now? That's unfair.
Unfair? No, I think it's actually more fair to them, dude. That's the whole
What
point.
if they have a boyfriend? They're like, oh, what do you do?
How
does that work?
I don't even.
Because I don't even want to know how many.
Yeah,
there are.
I don't know, man.
But you know what? I think that would be hilarious for a movie.
Oh, a premise of a movie?
Yeah.
I think it'd be awkward, but yeah, maybe. Why don't you get after that, man?
Yeah.
You're a
That'd
good
be,
writer.
that'd be a big hit.
Are you? Yeah. Are you a Reddit user?
Yeah. I've
Okay.
been using Reddit for a long time.
Okay, so I'm not really a Reddit guy.
Let's see how long I've been on Reddit.
I'll stumble. So you have like an user account or whatever. I'll stumble upon it every now and again when I'm doing a search for something else. It'll come up in a search result.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, click on Reddit. And I'm reminded every time I'm on that page why I don't like it. It's just kind of cluttery. It's kind of hard for me to read. There's all these subreddits and this, and that, and the other. And maybe because I don't have an account, I'm
I've been
not
on
privy
it
to all
for
the
12
information.
years.
Wow. Okay, so maybe this story will be near and dear to you then. And I heard this the other day.
Well, Reddit's great for general conversation.
Yeah, they call themselves the
Front page of the
front
internet.
page of the internet, right? Which that is a really
If
good.
you're looking for articles, that's where you want to go look.
yeah, maybe I need to.
Because that's where I found the headless
Oh yeah, the two people that chopped their heads off.
worshippers. Yeah.
in a
Oh man,
religious
Reddit
ceremony.
used to be a Wild West website, like
Well, it was
4chan.
like the first one, right?
Like no, I think 4chan was really like the first one, if I think. The problem with 4chan is everything was super anonymous,
Right. Okay.
meaning like one click is dangerous.
Oh wow.
So like you go on this click and you're like, okay, I did not want to watch that.
Oh. Okay, so it's really unregulated
It's
Wild West. Okay, yeah,
it's
no.
crazy. Oh, I loved it. And then
You're like his best.
well, because
I clicked everything.
a story back with Stuart, my cousin. We used to live together, and one of the things we would do is try to find the craziest thing on the internet.
Okay.
And what we would do is
It's kind of the point of this show, if you think about it.
well, no, I'm talking like
well,
think
the
about-
radio version
think
of
about
that. Come on now.
think about guys hanging out.
yeah.
You know, we're 22.
Oh, trust me, I find stuff
Okay.
all the time, but I'm like, yeah, I can't bring that to
But
air.
what
We are over the air.
What we would
but-
do though to play tricks, we had like an iPad, and we would leave the website open.
Oh.
So when you open the iPad, did the little keypad thing,
Yeah.
boom, right there.
Yeah, we did that to each other in college. too.
And it was like
Yeah.
a constant thing around the table, and it got so bad when people would come over, and they wanted to look up movie times. Like, oh yeah, it's on the iPad. And then you open it, and it's like, oh no,
Whoa, yeah.
And-
We had a little bit of that in college too. Oh, that reminds me.
because they used to have that on Reddit, and that's when Reddit at one point, like, just I guess they got in trouble. I don't really know because you can get in big trouble with that stuff.
Well, sure. If
Because
it's
if that kind of stuff's on the internet, then the really bad stuff's on that website, like the
Okay.
real bad. Like I'm talking like sex trafficking, pedophiles,
oh, sure,
stuff like
I'm
that.
sure.
And so Reddit changed, and now it's like progressively getting to that point where it's like we don't want to have that content because we have advertisers now.
Oh yeah, sure. Especially if they're in for profit, they can't have just
Yeah,
the possibility of having.
because it used to be the
Illegal
Wild West. There
content,
used to be
yeah.
the Wild West where stuff was just out of control.
That reminds me, I had a professor in college. I'm not going to say his name, probably because I just can't.
Did he
I can't
post
remember
to-
it. No, but I was on his. This was early days of the internet. I mean, this is early 2000s, and well, early day of the World Wide Web, I guess I should say. It's not. It was around, but not like it is today. It's not ubiquitous, on our phones or whatever. And I was on his page for the university, so it's a .edu site,
Okay.
and I was doing something to submit a paper or looking at an assignment, and I clicked on something, and it took me straight to a porno site on his page, and I went, oh! I mean, this was on his page.
Did you email him?
Oh yeah, and because I liked this guy, I immediately emailed him and I said, "Hey, dude, you gotta fix this quick." And I don't know if he did it, if somebody hacked him. I have no idea.
I like it.
And he emailed back. He's like, "Thank you so much," and that was it. I really liked the dude, but that was shocking because he could have gotten in massive trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I bring this up about Reddit because I didn't know that they have an API that was free, and do I need to explain an API? Okay. They had an API that was free.
Maybe to
and
the
what-
onesies you do.
Okay, real quick, brief. It's like, okay, so an API is like a framework that you can build around either a database or a website that allows people to extract data fairly easily in a very structured way, okay?
Yeah.
Very easily, and it allows for the exchange of information relatively quickly. So, and that's the real high level. I could go into a little bit deeper, but I won't.
Oh, I'm so smart.
I'm the
smart one if I answer what. Okay, Andrew.
Well, I mean, I could go and give you an example. I'm not going to give an example. But anyways, they had a free API. And what I didn't realize is people over
okay.
the years had been...
Backtrack.
Yeah.
I feel like all APIs are free unless stated not.
No, I don't think that's the case at all. You have to have an account, and that account can be actually one that you have to pay for.
Okay.
And this one apparently was free, Reddit's API.
So just so I understand, API is an option a internet company can have.
An option, well, sure.
Because they themselves use the API,
They build it themselves and make it available.
but they don't have to make it available.
They don't. No, you don't have to make
You
it.
don't- that's what I'm asking. Like,
Absolutely.
I
They
didn't know-
did it. They did it as a way to allow their information to be facilitated more quickly and efficiently
Okay.
over the
Within-
internet.
Okay. Yeah, because the reason I'm asking is like when people build these APIs, because this is going to be a huge topic going forward.
This is
with
going to be
a lot-
massive. I didn't realize it. but-
for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
And like Twitter's another one that
Yeah, I'm sure they have an API too. I mean,
But you build an API as a company that can benefit both internally, and then you can make an option to let it be available externally.
Sure.
But some companies might not even build an API.
Right. Correct. They may not need it, or they just don't want to provide that information in that manner.
Okay.
Maybe it's proprietary or whatever. Well, there were people that used their free API to build apps, basically to mimic what's on Reddit in most cases. And a lot of times, these apps were even more streamlined and more user-friendly than Reddit itself.
Yeah.
And so it was taking a lot of like some people were not even going to the parent side of Reddit. They were going to these other apps that were just mimics of Reddit because they're getting all this information off these APIs. Well, Reddit has said, no more free API. And they're charging.
Well, no, there's a free level.
Well, might be, but
I think it's like you can do either 16,000 inquiries every 10 minutes.
But that's
or
pretty
something like that.
That's pretty small. When you talk about inquiries, I mean that's hits, that's requests from individuals. That'll fill up in no time at all. And so Reddit is starting to charge, and I forget like however many pennies or cents per request. And there are a lot of sites that are going, I can't afford this, and poof, they're done. And I don't have any examples of them because I heard this on the radio the other day, and I thought, man, the question is interesting.
Because I'm glad you know a lot more than I do because you're the smartest person.
I just report on the news.
No,
man.
but with that in mind, like we're charging for this kind of stuff because I understand that, like for the way it affected Twitter, for example. Is Twitter, you could set up accounts, and these smart guys would set up accounts that would auto-post stuff. Mm-hmm. So, for example, like the one I liked it was a stat Twitter handle for baseball. Mm-hmm. So they would you'd randomly post stats of like, hey, this is the 4,000th whatever strike call today. Awesome. And that was just set up automatically. So it's like this guy.
So it was probably going out and scrubbing and MLB stat sites and putting it in a nice
putting
format.
it in Twitter and doing that stuff. And like, so when they announce at Twitter they're going to charge, he's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I have to turn off the account because it does all these inquiries and blah blah blah. The thing I'm trying to figure out is this only a big deal because people just don't want to pay for that service? So, for example, I've used Reddit a lot. I've never used anything outside of the Reddit app. I never used the Apollo, never used any of those things. And I'm like, okay, so these guys built this app for free. They don't charge people for it. Right. And they're complaining now that they can't afford to do something already free.
Well, my assumption is the people that have built apps are probably monetizing those apps. And now all of a sudden they're losing their monetization capabilities. So, and apparently there's a lot of them like this.
Yeah, and they don't say it though. They don't say, hey.
They probably don't, yeah. So, or people just know it and they didn't care, and Reddit didn't care, I guess, to a degree. Well, now they care.
Well, I mean, Reddit did this blackout stupid because if people don't know what Reddit is, what I love about it, it's community-driven content, and it's voted on by ups or downs, and then each little subreddits are little communities inside. Mm-hmm. It's like a chat room, not a chat room. Like it can be a chat room, but anyway, so those communities have moderators, and all that stuff's volunteer. Oh wow! So the big subreddits, like the ones I visit on a frequent basis, are like baseball, soccer, basically sports, football, that kind of stuff, and then of course. Video games and things I'm interested in. Like I like calligraphy. I like looking at that stuff. So they have moderators. So
you're a modern Renaissance man. You know that?
Well, the people
baseball and calligraphy.
Well, what I love about the Reddit is it has so many different groups that like you never knew anything about. Like I don't own a calligraphy pen set, but I like seeing how people showing how they're doing it because that's interesting. Yeah. That's a lost art. And
kind of is. I was really into calligraphy as a kid. Yeah. And I got a pen, and I never could do it. It's just because you have the equipment. I thought it was, it's just the pen. Sure, the pen helps, but you still have to know how to turn that, and I could never really do it with a crap. So.
But anyway, there's moderators, and some of them, the bigger ones, did a thing where they're like, hey, we're going to black out the page. No one can do anything with it for 48 hours to show that we're upset by this. No one cared.
I think it is going to have some ripples, and I'm going to keep an eye on it. Because I'm going to keep an eye on the news.
Well, I think the API thing is going to change the way businesses are going to think about exchanging information.
Yeah, I think it already has.
Because
it's whether or not they charge.
A lot of people who work in that field know it's going to affect them.
Oh yeah,
one way or another. See, I'm not in that field, so I don't really care, and that's why I think these blackouts they do on Reddit are stupid. Because they're like, the only thing you're hurting is the community. Because now what's going to happen is you've been cultivating this community for 12 years, and then all of a sudden I don't get access. I'm going to go find something else.
Right. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I don't care. So To me, it backfired
Perhaps. I think we're about to see.
because I'm a normal user. I'm not like a moderator.
Right. All right. Well,
And-
we'll find out. I have a feeling over the next few weeks and months the fallout from something like that. Abruptly changing subjects right before we go to the break here. Have you ever thought about what it might be like to fake your own death?
No.
Yeah, and I haven't really either to a degree. I do think it would be interesting conceptually to be like, I wonder what it would be like to watch from afar if I were to fake my death and look to see what people were talking about me, how people really felt about me, what they were saying on social media about me, how many people showed up at my funeral. That kind of thing would be interesting.
Yeah, I would want you to be there to see that because you could see how big the loogie I would spit on your grave.
Exactly. And be, look at Dick. He showed up. He's not even wearing black. In fact, he's wearing a clown outfit. Why is he spitting? Why are you spitting?
Shorts and
Flip-flops.
What's up, Andrew?
Andrew would have wanted it this way, man.
Look who the smartest one is now, dead.
Yeah. Why don't you API this, bro?
Such a deadbeat.
But that would be interesting, right?
Deadbeat dad.
That would be interesting. Well, this story caught my eye because a man fakes his own death before arriving at his own funeral in a helicopter.
All right. That's awesome. First off, that's awesome.
It is kind of awesome.
Is he a wealthy guy?
I'm guessing so. I mean, unless you just rented the helicopter. I don't know that it's his own. His name's David Burton. He's 45 years old. And he claims that he carried out this elaborate prank.
Yeah, he's got to be rich. He doesn't have much time.
To teach members of his family a lesson about the importance of staying in touch with one another. What an ass, man.
Well, not even that. The family must have been in real trouble for him to see that.
Well, the family helped him out. So, like his kids and his wife, they all went through with it and helped him out. So
Okay.
he was not doing it by himself. And
so that's good because at first I'm like, if you do that to your wife and kids, bro, like that's something they might not recover from. So don't do that. To certain people.
Yeah. I think the people who were closest to him knew, but in a way, I have to think that he was probably just doing this for. I'm sure he's a social media guy to get clicks on a. Get a little strong drink there.
Yeah, that's a good.
To get clicks on his social media or TikTok or whatever.
Right.
But in other words, then he can seem altruistic and be like, oh, no, this is an important lesson about teaching people the importance of staying in touch. I'm like, yeah, I think you were doing this for attention. But it is pretty amazing to show up. And they said there's video out there online of him come landing in a helicopter and be like, what up?
I was kidnapped.
That guy was a real ass anyways.
Yeah.
All right, man, it's a good time for us to take a break. I don't even know what we got when we come back, but we'll figure it out when we get there.
What?
After the break, content, more stuff.
Oh, what? Audience of one break?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right, guys, we'll be right back.
Dick, I think we need to talk about something that's really important.
Is this an intervention?
No, that's next. No, I think we need to talk about sponsoring and donating to the show. It's something that I feel very close to, and I think it's good for you.
I think it's important that we tell our listeners that they can donate and sponsor.
Very, very true. Do you like dog food?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's good, because without those sponsorships and donations, dog food may be what you're eating.
Okay.
Don't let Dick eat dog food. Like, follow, subscribe, donate.
Yeah.
Today.
Audience of one. Audience of one. Show.
At gmail.com.
Yeah. All right, welcome back to the Audience of One show here on Lone Star Community Radio and also podcast, all that stuff every Wednesday. If you're interested in helping out the show, we do have a donation link below, and we are looking for sponsors for whatever. I think Andrew is a walking sponsor. He's literally wearing a Rangers hat and Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Yeah, man. I do what I can.
Do you really like the Rangers? That's gross.
Yeah, man. I like the Texas Rangers, of course. They're doing great this year, too.
That's all luck.
Maybe. Most of baseball is.
Yeah, I guess.
Make sure you like and subscribe, too. Those likes really help us get the word out.
And if
helps the algorithm in the API to promote our stuff, I guess.
If you want to sound like a broken send us articles and stuff, too, audienceofoneshow@gmail.com. That's how you best reach us if you got a comment or question and, that kind of stuff. Because we got some great articles coming up and I'm kind of excited about gooch grease and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think you can say that.
Can you say that?
I think so.
I think
you can say it.
Well, there was an official.
You just did.
Well, there was an official Fox report on it.
There was
on like live TV.
Correct.
So I feel like I can say it.
That's the reason why I determined we could bring it to air, was because it was on TV, and if it's on TV, I guess we can say gooch grease.
Yeah, I guess.
More on that to come, I think.
We'll get to that.
Well, the story I wanted to start this half off with was the news of the death of the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little older than you, but I remember this story vividly. Do you remember this guy and how it kind of dominated the news? You remember this guy's bit?
You know, it's funny when you mentioned that you wanted to talk about him. I thought it was the Oklahoma City bomber guy.
Oh, no. No, that was in the 90s too, though, I think, right? Late 90s?
Because I don't really remember, because the Unabomber was around for a long time.
Yes.
Meaning he was terrorizing people.
For like 20 years or something.
Yeah, and I wasn't really part of that. I remember the sketch, and I don't really remember, because in 1992...
Yeah, the sketch was really famous, and the sketch of him.
I was 6 in 1992.
Yeah, wow, okay. That's why. And see, I remember this because I was in high school when this story, or junior high school, when this broke, and I guess when he was caught, or the moments leading up to when he was caught. There was a big fever pitch, of finding evidence, of finding, and they were on his trail or whatever, and it was all over the news, man. It was, and I guess because he had this cool name, the Unabomber.
Which I think he gave himself, didn't he?
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, he would contact the media.
Yes.
He had a conversation with them constantly.
Yeah, and I think his brother actually turned him in. There was some manifesto that was written.
And he's like, oh, his prose.
Yeah, and his brother recognized his style of writing. His prose, yes. Who's the smart one now?
I'm literally just mimicking what I read. Because what I love about this kind of stuff, because I really wasn't around, and they were talking about, this case cost $50 million total.
Wow.
They think, and I go, I wonder what would happen if it started today.
Oh my God!
Like, how fast with the technology we have would he have gotten caught?
Yeah, it would have all been digital for sure. He wouldn't have been doing handwritten things, I guess.
Because what's creepy to me about stories like this is the only reason he got caught, realistically, was his brother.
Yeah. Yeah, his brother recognized his handwriting in some manifesto that he wrote and said, yeah, that only my brother could write something like that, because apparently this guy was extremely smart. Ted Kaczynski was, and he got accepted to Harvard at the age of 16.
Yeah.
Whoa. And he died,
I like how you just stigmatized all smart people who are 16 going to Harvard. Unabombers.
I mean,
all of them.
Well, I would say there's probably a pretty high percentage. How many 16-year-olds are going to Harvard? And he represents one of them. That's a pretty good percentage.
Yeah. But anyway,
I don't want to stigmatize
him. This terrible act was caught by an off chance that the brother recognized something. Now, would you call?
If my brother was a Unabomber? Man.
Because what's interesting me about this guy specifically is he was bombing random people that had some connection to, like, either a a protest kind of thing, like a eco protest.
Yeah.
Or you're chopping down trees, or you're doing whatever. And so it's like the fear in the country was probably existing, but I guess they weren't smart enough to realize, he's not just randomly bombing people.
Yeah, I mean, it was somewhat targeted, but you never knew when it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he admitted to 16 different bombings over the time period of 1978 to 1995.
Yeah. But, like, the brother, would you turn in your brother if you... Because the way they made it sound is he recognized it. It wasn't like he caught his brother making a bomb.
No, because they couldn't find him. He was out living in the woods somewhere, so no one really knew where he was.
So it's kind of like, it's really
it's
interesting.
It's not like he visited him for Christmas one day and he looked over and was like, hey, what's that in the corner, Ted?
Well, it's like you recognize it, and so it's a hunch to start off with. Because you're not absolutely sure. You just saw it on the news and they read a little excerpt. It wasn't like he went to... Yeah. He went to the FBI. He's like, let me see those papers. And, like, he goes, that's my brother. It's like, no, he just probably heard it on the news. Like, it sounds like my brother.
What I think is interesting, though, and I know I've got to tread lightly here, but he, air quote, only killed 3 people in all those years.
He hurt a lot of people.
But he hurt a lot. Yeah, he maimed and did a lot to a lot of people. But he actually only killed 3 people. And with something as this large of a story, I would have thought it would have been a lot more.
I think his intention was to scare people.
Oh, well, he definitely did that.
I think that's what he was kind of saying. Like, it wasn't like he designed every bomb to kill. It was like he designed every bomb to scare people, to let them know that this isn't a good place we're going in this world.
Right.
We need to
Yeah, I think
shift.
wasn't he warning about the advancement of technology and where it's going to take us? Kind of was right there. Just saying.
Nice. We're actually pretty good.
No, yeah, nothing going on here. No problems with AI or Reddit or anything, right?
How are those problems? Except the overlords.
Right.
Except
No, he was
Skynet.
warning about the dangers of technology and rapidly advancing technology, and I have to admit he was probably right there.
I think it's-
Well, they found him in 1996 in a 10 by 14 plywood tarp paper cabin out in the woods
I like it.
in Lincoln, Montana.
How about you down?
And it was filled with, can you imagine the stink, man? I bet you he, not like the underwater guy that spent 197 days, I bet you he definitely had a potty corner and he had a sleeping corner. He didn't have to, well, maybe he just went outside. What do you think he did? How did the Unabomber poop?
I think
Dick,
he just
tell
went
me.
outside.
You think he just went outside?
Yeah.
What if it was really, what if it was cold though? And it was like snowing and he didn't want to go out there and leave a steamer?
Yeah.
He just, I bet
Well,
he had a
I'm
corner.
more interested in like what his diet was.
Yeah, he survived somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure it was off of leaves,
And he didn't
sticks,
even
and
need
worms.
to. That was the odd thing. It wasn't like he was on the run.
Well, yeah, he was. I mean, he was hiding. They were after him, right?
But they didn't know who it was. They had no idea who he was. They had no idea he had a cabin. They had no idea. Yeah, they had no idea.
Oh, so you're saying he could have been hiding in plain sight this whole time, but he
Yeah.
chose to live out in the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, that's possible. Hey, man, turn your phone off during the show, man. Come on, professional here.
That's what happens.
Oh, man. Well, anyways, he is dead of death at the age of 81. He committed suicide. They found him unresponsive in his jail cell. So, R.I.P. Mr. Ted Kaczynski. I hadn't heard that name in so long.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that guy. But, yeah, you mentioned the sketch, and that was kind of the lasting image I had of that guy. They had some sketch, and that was the picture that we saw all over him.
Well, it's another ending of a chapter of whatever you want to call him. What was it, serial
A legend.
bomber?
Yes, a serial bomber, serial legend. Staying on this topic of death, have you been hearing about these stories of orca whales?
Yeah.
Those are called killer whales, by the way, in case you didn't know
Yeah.
that. Orcas are their real name. But
Well, you know, I always laugh when you hear about the SeaWorld people getting drowned.
yeah.
And they're like, yeah, aren't they called killer whales?
Yeah, exactly. And they're brutal. And so these whales, orcas, I mean, if you've ever seen footage of them going after like sea lions
Oh,
or whatever, it's brutal, dude. They will drive them into the ground. They're nasty. I mean, they're massive. Oh, we should have had one of those.
They don't have hands.
No, they just have a nose and big teeth, I guess. That should have been one of the things I think humans could beat in a fight. Do you think you could beat an orca whale? That's a story we had a few weeks ago. But yeah, but anyways, I wanted to bring this story to air a few weeks ago, and I just never did. But there has been an increase in the number of ships that are being attacked by killer orca whales. And it's kind of disturbing the way it's happening. I mean, you and I talk a lot about AI and how the machines are learning, and they're adapting. But this is good old Mother Nature, it seems, learning as well and adapting. And what I mean by that is it appears there was one whale 3 years ago or so that had a run-in. They gave this whale a name, and I don't remember what it was.
I love how the people somehow recognize the one type of animal.
This whale's name was White Gladys.
Yes, I'm saying, like, that was White Gladys.
Yeah, White Gladys. Well, apparently in this area, there's only like 46 orca whales, so there's not very many.
How do they know they're exactly 46?
Oh, they probably got them all tagged.
Okay.
People spend their
I don't know.
entire
I'm
life.
just
I'm
curious.
just saying that these people spend their entire life like researching animals. They know
Yeah.
these things, and they give them names. Like, you never met this thing. But this one whale, White Gladys, had a run-in with a ship, and I guess she had a traumatic PTSD moment and decided to attack the ship, which they're not known for attacking ships. Obviously, like we said, well, they'll attack small animals. Well, apparently some of the other whales around her noticed this behavior and started to mimic it. And it started off basically as them just kind of going up and nudging these boats and kind of, making them almost capsize or whatever. Well, now they're going in and they're basically eating the rudders and just sinking these ships. It's terrifying.
Is there any videos of it? That's something
I don't have one.
I want to watch that.
But yeah, I mean, I would think it'd be kind of crazy. There's Dan Kriz told Newsweek that the first time his boat was confronted by a pod of killer whales was in 2020 when he and his crew were delivering a yacht through the Strait of Gibraltar. I will give you a shiny nickel if you know where the Strait of Gibraltar is, which runs, oh darn, I'm about to tell you. It runs between Spain and Morocco, so I'm not going to give you that quarter. It's safely in my pocket. Yeah. There have been anecdotes of orca ambushes, but they've started to rise, obviously, here in the last couple of years. He said at one point he was surrounded by a pack of 8 orcas pushing the boat around for an hour, and that they eventually just damaged the ship's rudder to a point where he couldn't no longer sail the ship, and he had to be towed to the nearest marina. And then again in April, it happened again, and he thought he was hit by a wave, and he felt this sudden force and realized, oh my gosh, these orcas are attacking me again. They're learning, and it appears that some of the smaller
I'm
whales
trying to find a video.
are now mimicking the actions of the larger whales. Oh, there's a video right here, man, on that one of the links I sent you. If you scroll down, I'm assuming that's. I'm assuming that's. It says video of the encounter shows orcas biting off the rudders. Yeah, so if you want to play that,
I don't know.
that's the first link I sent you. But absolutely terrifying, and it's kind of crazy that the learned behavior of these animals that were really at one time not considered a threat to human beings, it's now becoming a trend. It's trending amongst the whale community to go in and destroy these boats, and it tends to be a certain type of ship, like sailboats mostly, that they're going after. But it's pretty scary. He said the first time, because this guy apparently had been attacked twice, he said, we could hear them communicating under the boat. But the second time, they were quiet. And it didn't take them long to destroy both rudders. It looks like they knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't touch anything else. They went in for the kill rather quickly. That's pretty... They're tired of our BS, man.
Well, just in that area.
Yeah, I guess. But, I mean, it goes to show you that, like, if they wanted to, animals could group together and just take us out pretty easily.
I mean, a couple of us.
A couple of us.
Not all of us.
Oh, that's what I was bringing up last week, or a couple weeks ago when we were talking about fighting animals. I said, look, if these guys all band together, the animals, did they start communicating together? I think they could take us, man.
No way.
I think they could. If they all
we
communicated
have
together.
weapons.
Yeah, but
What do they have?
sheer numbers. And I'm talking about everything from...
Sheer numbers.
I'm talking
There's
about
so many more of us than like monkeys and
no,
stuff.
No, I'm talking about all of them combined.
Oh, you're talking about the whole Earth.
The whole world, yes, the animal kingdom,
That's
including like
gross.
insects. Like if all the insects started attacking us, we'd have no shot, man. They're tired. They're pissed off at us. And they all get
See, they
together.
should have written that as like, instead of a flood. If you really want to terrify the children in a Bible story.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're not doing a flood this year. What are we doing? Oh, the entire planet's going to eat alive all the human beings.
By ants,
Yeah.
dragonflies, and orca whales.
Yeah. No matter where you're going, you're being chased by something, man.
Yeah, you're right. Land, sea, water, it don't matter. Lakes.
Yeah.
There's like sharks in Lake Conroe, by the way. If you read I Love Conroe.
Oh, there's not sharks in there.
You didn't. I guess you hadn't seen that, but I did see that post.
There's not sharks there.
Oh, man. Well, stay off the water. Have you ever been like scuba diving or anything
Yeah.
like that? I have.
I hate the
sort
water.
of.
I hate it. I don't ever want to go into the water.
Yeah, is it because you can't see?
I think it's just, I know it's in there, and I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepy
like,
stuff in the
I'll
water.
go swimming in the pool all day.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I take that back. I'll go to the beach. I'll probably go waist high. And then that's it. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, I used to not care. I would jump in lakes, rivers, whatever. And as I've gotten a little older, I'm a little more suspect of what's
Yeah.
in there. And I guess just because we're hearing more and more stories about like alligators and crocodiles, whatever, that have been released into some of these lakes that historically never had them before, and they have no natural predators, and they're just taking over. I can't do that.
Over
man.
it.
Yeah, I've been scuba diving, kinda. So when I was younger, because you have to get certified and do all this stuff legally. Well, I wasn't going to go do all that. My friend, they were. We went to a swimming pool, and I put on all the equipment and kind of swam around the pool to understand how to use this stuff first. And then we went out to the beach, but we only went in to water that was like, chest high, so that, that was not really dangerous. We weren't really scuba diving. And the water was so murky, I couldn't really see what was going on. But the one thing that I realized is after scuba-ing, if that's the proper word, for a certain length of time, you get used to breathing underwater. And the very next time I went into the pool, reflexively, I went in to take a breath and sucked in water. I was like, oh my God.
You're an idiot.
I'm an idiot. It just suddenly dawned on me.
I love it.
Yeah, because you get used to doing it. But anyways, Did you hear about this New York fertility specialist who died in a plane crash? This is weird, man.
Well, that's that.
There's a couple of things going on there. It's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
did he impregnate or donate his own sperm?
Yeah.
Basically, like he was already a clinic that does that. So instead of
So he made news years ago, right?
for that,
Yes.
and then he built his own plane, and then it crashed.
yeah, man.
I smell like a Carol Baskin scenario.
Right.
Where like, oh, a guy faked his own death.
By the way, we could probably have him on our show as a guest.
He's alive, right?
Yeah, he's alive and he's out of prison. We're talking about the Tiger King now.
Oh, I'm talking about the husband.
Oh no, well. There's rumors that he's alive, but he's like over the seas. I'm taling about Tiger King himself. I think that guy will say
He's out?
yes to. Yeah, I think he's out. He'll say yes to any
I'm
interview.
surprised there's not like, what's his name again?
I just know Tiger King. I never watched that. But no, this guy.
I thought he was going to jail for a long time because he attempted to kill her.
Man, maybe I'm getting my stories, man. I
Yeah.
thought he was out. But
I thought it was like
Dr.
20-something.
Morris Wortman is 72 years old, and he made a homemade aircraft, which I didn't know you could actually like make your own homemade aircraft, but apparently this is a thing. There are kits you can buy online. I looked it up, and you can make your own airplane. And that's, to me, it's absolutely terrifying. I don't know. Well, he died the other day in a plane crash when the wing of his ship or aircraft flew off, and he died. But he was famous because he was embroiled in a fertility fraud scandal that accused him of using his own sperm. Can I say sperm?
Yeah,
That's just a gross word. To inseminate patients, which is just so disgusting. Of course, against their knowledge. He was using his own mess as a fertility doctor. So he got what was coming to him. But
There's an X-Files episode like that.
is there?
It's great.
I bet it is. Tell me about it.
So this
Okay, I'm bored.
this nerd guy, the undesirable character, he can shapeshift.
Yeah.
And he would find women who are looking to get pregnant at like the clinic and stalk them and then fulfill their fantasy because he can shapeshift. But then I think
So he would shapeshift into like
what their fantasy was.
Fabio.
Or something like that. And I think the storyline goes like the baby's being born or something's going on with the babies because he has that ability to shapeshift. And so there's some weird stuff going
this is
on.
weird.
So
This is
they
weird,
call
man.
Mulder and Scully to come investigate.
You know, you bring up an interesting point. If you could shapeshift, why would you shapeshift into some half man, half like cat, dog creature, whatever? Why don't you just shift shape into some like Brad Pitt and go have your selection of the ladies?
I think one of
this
them,
guy was doing it right the whole time.
There's one girl wanted Darth Vader.
As most women do.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
And so her encounter.
But I mean, think about that. Could be anybody.
Well,
You
I
got to
think-
put a mask on and.
Well, I think that's what they were trying to say. It was like there was an encounter where they're interviewing her, and she like would literally believed it was Darth Vader.
I mean, how hard
Because
is it to look like Darth? You put on the costume, that could literally be anybody.
I don't know. Or no, Luke Skywalker.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense because really,
There you
I mean,
go.
it would be the voice. You would have to sound
Yeah,
like
it was Luke
James
Skywalker.
Earl Jones.
Because they were like, who was the man? Like, it was Luke Skywalker.
But wait, was it Luke Skywalker before the accident or after the accident? Because he does look
Probably
slightly
in
different.
between while they're going at it.
All right, you did know about that, right? That he got into a terrible
Yeah.
car accident. Mark Hamill did in between the
Yeah, his
making-
face is all jacked.
Yeah, and it did change his face. Didn't change his.
That's why that opening scene is he got hit by the winter monster in Empire Strikes Back.
So that they could write it into the script.
Yeah,
Of this is
he
why
got
I'm all
clawed
jacked
in the
up.
face.
Yeah, is that when he? And then shortly after, didn't he like cut up something to stay warm?
Yeah.
That's so nasty.
That scene was so ridiculous. I still don't get it. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
with all the technology and you can fly spaceships, there's not a way to like send help.
Yeah, you don't have like a heater on demand or some little device. You
Well, I
can
always
call
love
and-
that in sci-fi. It's like it's so cold here, the ships won't work. I'm like, then we would probably die in a second if we were out there.
Yeah.
If it's that cold.
See, that's adding logic into sci-fi movies, and every time I do that, I'm always accused of, "Would you just shut up? It's a sci-fi movie. Would you shut up?" Because I always think when I'm watching people doing magic, and they're doing something, and they get into a scenario where they're in trouble, I'm like, "What happened to your magic?"
Well, that's why I
You know?
like Dungeons
So-
and Dragons
Why is that?
because they make fun of that.
Oh, because it's situations in which your magic won't work.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that's not how magic
Yeah,
works.
that's not
Why
how
does everyone think magic solves everything?
That's not how
See,
the
that's
Force
fu-
works, dude.
Yeah. Well, at least in that Dungeons and Dragons movie, they actually explained it.
Maybe
The
so.
Star Wars just kind of kept adding things to like. Hopefully they forget that. Hopefully they forget that entire idea.
Right.
It's like no.
I don't even remember what we were talking about. We've kind of been all over the place. Hey, when you were a kid, did you ever read like the Guinness Book of World Records?
I remember at one point the Guinness Book of World Records got to be looking so ridiculous. Because originally it was like, it looked like an encyclopedia.
Yes.
And then at one point it was like, no, we're going other end of the spectrum. It's glitter. It's shiny.
Oh, I don't remember that. That sounds pretty awesome.
Oh,
though.
here, I'll pull
So
it
when
up.
I was a kid, we would have those book fairs that would come into our school, once a year, and you would have to ask your parents for $20 to buy a calendar of, I don't know, skateboard pros, and then you got to pick out a couple of books or whatever. And I would always get the Guinness Book of World Records, and I would stare at those things for hours, man. And the ones that I remember standing out to me were like the world's heaviest people. And there was always that picture of the twins riding on the motorcycle. I remember them. They stood out.
So these are the book.
Yeah, they were just like little paperback ones, I remember.
Yeah, but these are like glitter. Like they have
they're all shiny.
It's
Wow,
all
that's
shiny.
weird. No, these were just like regular paperback
And
size
it's
books.
all crazy looking.
Yeah, they got to trick things up because no one's actually reading anything anymore. And then I remember like the guy with the longest fingernails, and he would stand there with his hand out to the side looking all creepy, and his thumbnail would curl up. And I remember they stood out, and the woman with the longest hair, she was standing on like a chair or I don't know, a stool of some sort. She had her hair draped down. I remember those. They stood out to me because I would stare at these people like for hours. And when I was mesmerized by it as a kid, it was probably almost traumatizing.
Yeah, like kind of like Al Pacino and a 29-year-old.
Yeah, I'm staring at Al Pacino.
I'm like,
so
what?
a Turkish
How?
man has been given the illustrious title of the world's longest nose. Well, he died at 75, R.I.P. And I didn't know this was a thing, but I probably would have stared at him as well as a kid if I had known about it. But I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce his name. Would you like to know how long his nose was?
I kind of want to see a picture of it.
It's in there. It's pretty impressive.
Oh, that's not that long.
Well, I think in person it probably is pretty impressive. But his nose measured a whopping 3.46 inches, or the size of a playing card. Yeah, there's a picture of a profile picture. I will admit, it doesn't look crazy large, but that apparently is the world's longest nose. And by comparison, the average human nose is only 2.2 inches long.
Okay.
So he was apparently very proud of it, and he often boasted about it and his superior sense of smell. Oh, he's so funny.
I like it.
Yeah.
Too bad he's dead.
Yeah, he died. I wish I would have met that guy. Couldn't have. There would be no such thing as Silent But Deadlies around that guy, though.
I mean, does it depend on how big your nose is to smell?
Well, that's what he was saying. He claimed that he had an amazing sense of smell because of the size of his nose, which I'm sure was BS. But
I learned
playing
the other
it.
day, and it's probably fake news, is
no such thing.
bloodhounds and dogs like that, they
Yeah.
smell with their ears.
No, their ears help capture the scent. That's why
what's-
they have wrinkles around their ears and face to help capture the scent.
Yeah.
They don't smell with their ears,
Well, it
but
goes
their
through
ears.
it. It goes through.
Yeah, it helps capture the scent, and that's why their ears are super long. Yeah,
That's crazy.
it is crazy. Did you know butterflies taste with their feet?
Do they eat with the mouth?
I think they eat with their mouth, but they taste with their feet.
How does that work? They don't put the food on their foot and then they put it in their mouth, do they?
Like an elephant, like with a trunk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember that.
Wouldn't that be bizarre?
Wouldn't it?
So, like, you touch, like your drink,
And you could.
and you're like, oh, it's going to taste pretty good. And then when you taste it, you don't taste anything. It's like, but it tastes good.
That would be interesting to taste with your sense
Yeah.
of touch. Oh my!
Oh, that'd be
oh
gross,
no! I'm
dude.
thinking of some things like you reach into the studio door
You
handle, and
use,
be like, "Oh!"
you use the restroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it tastes horrible.
I would say that would be a tragic design flaw if we tasted
Oh,
with our
that's
touch.
funny.
I would find a way to open everything with my elbows.
I guess.
God, how nasty. Okay.
I would get the pranks I would pull would be great.
Oh yeah, I can imagine you would put all kinds of things that smelled or touched funny.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Speaking about smelling funny, this is going to be our last
Is this
story.
the Gooch Grease story?
This is the Gooch Grease story. We're going to end
You
on
know this isn't real, right? Like, I feel like you fall for all these.
I don't care if they're fake, Dick. That's not the point. The point is we're talking about the crazy crap that's going on in this world. And this perhaps might be some of the craziest that I've heard. But something filthy is trending, apparently. And this is something called Gooch Grease. I'm going to be very delicate with this. If we weren't on the radio, I probably
Well,
could just
it's a male
be little
thing.
bit- It is a male
It's
thing.
a male thing.
And I believe the term gooch refers to the area in between a man's, it's the perianal region. Let's put it that way, okay? That's about the best way I can describe it. Well, I suppose there are certain people who have hygiene issues with this area to the degree where it can become smelly. And
Well, no wonder. Like, it's funny when you sent this to me, I was thinking to myself, I was like, because I know some people, like especially guys, they like especially larger men, like they have that smell, and like like there's certain deodorants or certain soaps that can help mask
things get
smell.
stuck inside the creases and the folds, I would think, right?
And when I saw this, I was like, how long are these people going without bathing?
Hot Pockets,
Yeah.
coins, lighters.
But I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Like, how these people who are putting maxi pads, like you're telling me you don't bathe for a
So
couple
that is
days?
the story. Apparently, it's a trend for men to use a moisture wicking maxi pad in that area of their body to help control the smell.
I don't get it. But maybe I don't get a lot of things, I guess.
Well, apparently you don't get it because you don't have this issue, and as neither do I.
Is this like a new issue that we're going to?
No, I think it's a
encounter?
new solution. I think the issue has been around for a while.
Okay. I
With
never
this
known
area
anyone that smell.
Well, maybe that's what you're smelling. You just didn't know that's what you were smelling. You just thought maybe it was an armpit, and as it turns
man.
out, you were smelling gooch, boy. So this is apparently the term is called gooch grease, and it is solved by putting a female hygiene product in that area to absorb the sweat.
Okay.
Again, Ted Kaczynski was right all along, folks.
Well, I mean,
He was right.
it's weird. This is going to get really political for some people.
Oh,
but,
no. Here we go.
Well, you know how they talk
We've
about...
made it however many episodes without
No,
it.
you know how they talk about why they put, like, tampons and stuff in the men's bathroom?
They put tampons in men's restrooms?
Yeah, that's
Where are
like...
you going?
that's
I travel, and I've never run into
No,
that.
that's like an argument people are trying to make.
I have seen...
In schools and stuff.
I have seen the toggle switch between men and women. Like you toggle it for the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the toggle
I was
switch.
like, what are we going to do? But yeah, no, they're arguing that at certain schools, and I was like, maybe this is what they're talking about, like for my gooch. I don't know. Whatever.
I think it's probably someone who is transitioning, who's a female using the male
Yeah,
restroom.
yeah,
And
well,
they still are going through those.
I have no idea.
I have not seen that before, but anyways. All right.
So
I'm
what-
out, bro.
That's it?
I'm done,
That's all you
man.
got?
That's all I got.
That's all
This
you
was-
got. Well, this is a great episode.
This was a phenomenal episode, man.
We're in the middle of June. Feel free to let us know your favorite articles for next week.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah, audience1show at gmail.com. We're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. On all of our formats and Lone Star Community Radio. Shout out to them for...
And also a shout out to my good friend Mike Tadero for shooting a 73 in golf a couple weeks ago. I meant to give him a shout out and I hadn't. I neglected
Who
to do
cares about that?
that. Oh my God, it was amazing. So shout out.
Did
Way
you-
to go,
were you
Mike.
there?
I was there. It was nice.
Did he cheat?
Over Memorial? No.
You sure?
No.
Like, how do you know?
Because I was there and he played wonderfully. So anyways, shout out to Mike.
All right, he cheated.
Maybe.